So let's jump in to getting our stuff painted. I hope you guys enjoyed the video on how to make these guys a little bit more sturdy. And so welcome to part 2. We have the bases all done, and so let's pull out our trusty airbrush. I'm using the Iwata Eclipse HPCS. Love it, just super versatile, can do everything that I want it to do. So I'm not going to bother base coating stuff because I used the black foam, but if you guys used white foam core, then you can go ahead and paint the whole thing black. So I'm just going to go ahead with Vallejo Model Air. This is their dark gray blue, and I'm just going to put some of this kind of in between the pieces here. Just kind of develop the shadows already. Get my fan on. I want to stay alive, you know. After years of painting models, you can never be too safe about this stuff. So, nice dark shadow. You can probably hear my airbrush sputtering a little bit because I've been doing tons of painting, and she needs a good, solid, clean. Alright, and I'm just going to get onto the edges of the cardboard a little bit as well. Cool. There we go. Now I'm just going to get rid of this paint on one of these. Because you don't need to be super clean about it. I don't want to have to actually clean my airbrush. I just want to get rid of the paint that's in there. Because we don't need to be very particular about mixing the paint. So I'm just going to do a lighter gray next. Getting there, looks like she's empty. Cool. Just put that one aside, and I'll keep focusing on this one for you guys. So this is just a special mix of like dollar store paints and airbrush medium. So here's my airbrush medium that I use. This Auto Air Colors. I don't know what company it is. Doesn't matter. I guess it's Auto Air Colors, and it's their reducer, so that just thins it out, gives me a nice consistency. It's just a random mixture of black and white to get a nice light gray. Just fill this up, and all right. Cool. Every once in a while, do use the toothbrush and clean out the nozzle. Super important. It's just going to increase my spattering, so if I don't do this, which I can notice it's blown out in big chunks and spotty stuff, which is partly because it is the dollar store paint, and partly because the nozzle gets clogged. Alright, I'm just kind of focusing in on the middle of it, because I do want the middle here to have that little bit of a highlight. Now you don't have to paint the middle part because the building will be sitting on top of it, right? Do a little bit more. The fact that everything's just done like super uneven just gives it that nice worn look at the end of the day. Alright, so that's good with that. And I do want just a little bit of a highlight, so I'm just going to leave this thing, I don't know, it's about a third full. I'm just going to take some of my white primer, because I have tons of it, and mix it in for a little bit lighter gray. So just going for a random mixture, putting in some reducer because that primer is pretty thick. And just mixing it right in the airbrush pot there. So, a little airbrush trick for you guys, just on the fly. And I'm just going to paint some of that on where I tested my color out here. Yeah, significantly brighter, so that's good. Oh yeah, perfect. So, just going to go ahead and kind of highlight each of these a little bit. I'm just kind of doing a little L shape on each of them. And do it the same direction on all of them, so they all look the same. In between each blast, just a little airbrush trick, guys, is just shoot some air out off of what you're working on, because if you don't, you'll get little speckles, and you don't really want that. Again, it doesn't have to be super neat, but this is probably the neatest you'll have to be, and even for this, you really don't have to work that hard on being neat. Little L shapes, and there's the last one. And now what I am going to do is I'm just going to do the edge. I'm just kind of shooting half on, half off. Oops, I blocked a whole bunch on. And I'm just going to spray the edge of this thing as well. Like this part where it's darker. Just kind of make it look the same a little bit. Alright, so that's that. What I'm going to do, folks, is I am going to set this aside, paint the rest of them to the same level, and then I will transfer back over to doing some hand brushing to start off the weathering. Here they all are. I have the 3 boards that I have airbrushed with the gray, and now we are going to use these Vallejo pigments to do some kind of weathering. And I have the Sienna Natural, the Sombra, Burnt Umber, and Dark Slate Gray, and Iron Oxide. So there we go. So just put those aside for a second, and I'll just get a nice fluffy brush for this. Maybe this guy right here. Alright, and so let's start off, do the dark one. So just take some of the Dark Slate Gray, and I'll just do one of these all the way through for you guys. So I got it right here, and it goes on powdery, so you're literally brushing on a powder. And so I just put it on and I push it around, and the texture will kind of tint the board for you. So here we go. Just do a little bit more. Just drop it in different places. And go to town. Spread it out. So just making this thing look weathered, used. It is a sidewalk, so people are walking on it, dropping trash on it. Though I am playing as the Yujing, which is kind of like a conglomeration, I believe, of some of the Asian countries. And I was in Japan, and it was actually like one of the cleanest cities I've ever seen. Like, it was just immaculate, and it's so quiet. Like, not a lot of noise, nobody honked really. It's very pleasant. So on the converse side of that, they do have the highest suicide rate in Japan, there in Tokyo. So interesting little tidbit. All that being said, we are going to weather this puppy. So now I'm going on with the iron oxide. And so something that I noticed when you put these things down, like it kind of goes down in like these big powdery chunks. So if you kind of push it like this, you'll get streaks. And if you kind of dab at it, you'll kind of break the chunks up a little bit and might look a little bit more natural. So just a combination of the two, whatever works. Also, this red one is like really potent on this light gray, whereas the dark one, the dark slate gray, probably took a little bit more, whereas this red goes a long way on this light gray here. Cool. Let's get a little bit of yellow on here. So part of it is weathering, but also part of it is just to make it really pop. So it serves kind of two purposes. Because the actual scenery is so bright, like if you look at this, lots of colors, oranges, yellows and stuff, some of the side of the buildings, reds, the blacks. So it's just to help these sidewalk bits really tie in as well. So just serves an artistic purpose as well as kind of like a functional, like practical weathering purpose as well. And you can see the yellow really makes it pop, really ties it together. It's just awesome. So now this stuff, you will get like little piles of powder, so try and work them in as much as possible. Probably hard to avoid little piles and stuff, but as we go in later and do some of the airbrushing, we'll blow out some of these piles that are left over and they'll just disappear. So there's that, and then what you can do, because we'll do the final airbrushes with the buildings glued on. So what you can do is, and I have my glue gun here. Oh, I just noticed this one's popped a little bit. Let's fix that up. Just kind of stick that in. Cool, and we're just going to glue this right on top. So cool. What do I want? Maybe I want the ladder on this side this time, because on my other one I put it on the other side. So here we go, let's just glue it down. Just get glue all the way around. Let my glue gun sit there for a little bit, so it's being a little bit finicky. There we go. We're getting her done. Alright, great. So let's stick that down. Make sure it's nice and centered. Whoops. There we go. Perfect. Great. So just a couple more steps of the airbrush to really tie these all in together, and we are almost done. So I'm going to complete these last two, and I will see you at the airbrushing station. Last steps. Getting excited. So this is what we have thus far. It's kind of the boxes and our sidewalked and sturdied up buildings. So what we're going to do is just add a little bit more weathering and battle damage, and then matte everything down. So I have Vallejo Air Camo Medium Brown. So get ready to go here. Pour some in. And so now what I'm doing, I'm aiming to do here is just like muddy things up and just kind of blend the building in with the sidewalk a little bit. So what you'll notice is these sidewalk things, they leave a little ridge, and so you're just going to have to shoot it from two different angles to make it look consistent. Otherwise, You look like you have this crazy weird line. Get some. So here's like a little rooftop garden, which is a cool little detail. But I bet it gets a little bit dirty up here and then walking around on it. So this kind of helps a little bit. Make them just that little bit more realistic. Less just like a cardboard box glued onto some styrofoam, you know what I mean? Got some little stringy bits from the hot glue gun. Alright, there's one. So let's do that. Let's do a couple boxes. Yeah, here too, there's a couple folds, so just make sure you shoot the airbrush from a couple different angles. Make sure you really got it. Did a thorough job. But this is cool. It's like a little noodle shop, and the seats you can pull them down off the box. That's cute. I'm going to go through all these because it won't take too long. You guys get to see every single stage that way. The good thing is, while it's still glossy too, I just like spattered on it, so I can just wipe it off my finger and redo it. So it's the handy part about having these glossy boxes. A little air vent up here, but that's dirty. Alright, last little box, and we'll just do a couple more buildings. Oh yeah, let's do our bridges, which actually I didn't get any brown when I did the bridges the first time, so this is good. With the one, for example. Alright. Airbrush getting clogged. I've been airbrushing all day. Clean out the tip. Some paint. Like integrate the two layers together, right? So like the wall and the floor, and so this helps do that, because you can't really get that tied together kind of look with the way they are. Alright, well, this is a cool roof, just a cool pattern, I guess. Yeah, Airbrush is real struggling right here. What happens is chunks build up in there every time you clean the airbrush out. And they build up in the tip. Got more strings from the hot glue gun. And I'm just going to turn my PSI up a little bit. Maybe I can blow it out. Eventually, whatever is clogging it is just going to shoot right out, and I might get a big splatter on my stuff here, which would suck. That airbrush life, gotta love it. And so let's just take the Vallejo Model Air Black, dump some of that in there. Go for some burnout. So, bang! shot came reaming off the side of this building. Bang, in the sidewalk area here. Don't get too wild and crazy. Bang, right there. Bang, someone's trying to shoot a dude who's hiding upstairs here. And bang, grenade explodes up here. And bang, someone tried to get shot walking in that door. There. Alright. What about on this thing? Yep. Bang, someone tried to get shot on this balcony. Alright, that's probably pretty good. Don't need too much on those railways. And let's get someone here. We're going to get both sides of these walls, right? These angled walls. And maybe something in this corner here. Sweet. That's good. And so I got like one of the lips here, so just make sure you get both angles. Alright, that's good. Bang, bang, bang. Oops, spattered a little bit, so cover it up by doing a little bit more. It's good for that one. Ran out of paint, just load up a little bit more. Got 3 more little canisters. 1 big building. Ooh, so this one's fun because it's kind of got like some exhaust fans here, so I like to put some burn on each one of those. Like the grates above it are just like so filthy. A little bit of burn on that one. A little grate up top there as well. Cool. Alright, it's the last one of those. Maybe let's get this sign here, this floor. It's probably good for that. And alright, last building. Show you guys the last step. Alright, so that's probably pretty good. Just get rid of this black paint. And clean this airbrush out real quick. So I just use water and then get in there with a shot at airbrush cleaner. Really clean out that cup because we are going to do a matte varnish. Great, so here's my matte varnish, the Micro Flat by Microscale Industries. And this is the paint on stuff, but it's pretty thin. Like you can shoot this just as is. Gonna get a bunch there. So a couple reasons I'm doing the matte varnish. One is to seal all this airbrushing down on this glossy cardboard. But then 2, because we're going to use these in battle reports online. This cardboard is really shiny, and so I don't know if you guys have noticed in this video at all, but it does reflect a lot. And I'm actually going to turn on my fan for this. So the paint has a similar effect where it mats down the areas that you paint. So we'll just go ahead and finish the rest of it. matted down. Just go ahead and do that to all the pieces. Protect them from that extra durability, and then for us, that extra feature being presentable on video. Alright guys, that's the end of that video. If you enjoyed that, making these, I'm just going to show you all the stuff put together. So I'm going to finish matte varnishing these, and then I'll have all the buildings together and set up. You guys can take a look. Here it is, all finished up. So I just laid out the matte as well, because it matches. And so there it all is. So you can see these nice cool sidewalks, some battle damage, all the boxes strewn around, and it's really an effective and pretty neat looking table. You notice, you see how the matte varnish, see how the light on this paper matte, I didn't matte varnish it, so it's like really shiny here, but here it's not reflecting anything, so that matte varnish really, you can see how it works. But all this stuff just looks awesome together. Now see, like battle damage and stuff all tied together just makes it all look nice and unified. And that's a table, guys. I'm probably gonna make some little pieces of throw terrain, like little half walls and stuff, or like cement barricades and things, just for a little bit more terrain to throw around. But there you go. I'm pretty excited to play this, and so super effective, and hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll see you at our next encounter.
Like a monkey in a rocket on his way back home. Okay.